Carlo Ancelotti rumoured to step down at the end of the season to bring through another legendary era as Brazil boss. He will be severely missed, but enter a Real Madrid icon, a tactical mastermind, and a man trusted to lead Los Blancos into the future. As rumours have it, Xabi Alonso will be in charge of Real Madrid next season. A squad full of young stars, aging legends, and of course, massive expectations. As we're not just managing Real Madrid, but Alonso's career, can he keep up with the pressure of the Bernabéu as we begin to build the next Galacticos in the Alonso era? Yes, people, here we go. As you can see, Xabi Alonso as manager. I'm personally very excited for this. I do think it will happen in real life. As like I just said, Carlo Ancelotti rumoured to be the Brazil manager. And hopefully over there, it gives him another chance to bench Endrick. That's not fair! I'm only joking, as here we are. This is the team we have starting on paper. Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and of course, my man Jude. Got him on the back of this kit, which is very tight, as you'll probably see. And we have all the loanies back because we are starting this from the start of next season, when Xabi is rumoured to become the Real Madrid manager on a permanent from Leverkusen. However, if you did think this was going to be easy, it's definitely not, because Xabi has challenges. And each challenge will unlock a new one, so we start with 1 and it goes to 4. And the first one is quite simple. We have to dethrone Barcelona as champions. As Flick at Barcelona looks like he will win his first title, so we have to try and finish above them twice to go on to the next objective. And apart from that, we are free to do what we want. I had to recall the loanee boy, so we've got 120 million euros. That should be enough to get our targets. And despite having Asensio, David Alaba, and Dani Carvajal in the reserves, I think one place that Real Madrid have been weak is the defensive positioning. And the first player that Real Madrid are rumoured to, and it's basically going to happen, Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool. He went early with his announcement, saying he will leave his boyhood club to go to another adventure, which is fair. Let me know in the comments below, do you think Trent Alexander-Arnold's betrayed Liverpool? Well, whatever you do think, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter, because he's coming to Los Blancos. Him and Bellingham can be best friends again in this team, but I still want to work on the defense, as Toni Rudiger getting a little bit old, but I want to bring in also another old one, as I'm unsure if Alonso's actually whispered into the ear of this man. Jonathan Tah, who played with him, won the league with him at Bayer Leverkusen, and in real life he's let his contract expire so he can leave Germany. And I think this guy in the defense for season 1 with Antonio Rudiger. Okay, and I'm happy with our defensive signings, but this league table is nuts because we technically have completed our objective, finishing above Barcelona, but Sociedad to what the league? Really? In front of Atleti? In front of Villarreal? Kind of surprised at that one, but I'm not complaining. Yes, I don't like the downfall from us. We finished 4th and do just squeeze UCL. But it is just above Barcelona, and we just had to finish above them in the league because we lose to them in the Supercopa. We head out in the Copa de España, getting beaten by Real Sociedad, who are just that team on form. With Ori Ozaksson, their main striker, who's only 20. I've got no idea how they've actually got this good. However, we can only focus on ourselves, and we have got growth in this first 11. Trent's gone up +1. We've got Jonathan Tah and Toni Rudiger at the back. Our front three should be a lot higher than 4th though. Vinny Jr., Mbappe and Rodrigo. Also Endrick on the bench. Not much game time, only +1. As at the end of the season 2 released, Lucas Vazquez and Vallejo. Sorry to Lucas, but with Carvajal and Trent, he is never going to get played. Also loaned out the likes of Martin, Asensio, as our top scorer this season was Rodrigo on 30 goals. Fantastic from this man. Our attacks should be sorted. I think these both scored 20 or more, and it goes without saying. Terrible league form, terrible UCL run. We went out, believe it or not, to Arsenal again. Yes, I can't believe it either. Getting beat by Arsenal in real life and in the Sims is just horrible, but our budget has gone slightly up and we only signed free agents last year, so 155 million euros should be enough to try and dethrone Barcelona, which we need to do. We need to finish above them again. And the only position I'm really looking at maybe is that left back slot. And there are numerous players getting old at this team, like the goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, Toni Rudiger, who we've literally just just signed a German to go alongside him. Maybe more defenders needed down the line, but the first bit of tactical movement is Trent. I'm going to play him in the CDM position, so he can play next to his best friend Jude Bellingham, the whole reason he came to Real Madrid. And then I'm going to try Tchouaméni as a centre-back to replace Toni Rudiger once the time comes, but that actually causes more problem than it solves, because now Carvajal at right back. Could we actually go with Fede Valverde? Maybe, but left back, that is first position 100%. We must sort out to dethrone Barca, and unfortunately Real Sociedad have no one good. In fact, no one really good in the entirety of La Liga, apart from Miguel Gutierrez, who was part of Real Madrid's plans before, and they said they would bring him back. But I might just do something stupid. You know when we went back for Jonathan Tah? You know when we went and robbed from Leverkusen? I might actually do that again, you know, and you might get really angry at me. But Alejandro Grimaldo, his crossing stats are out of this world. Now that playstyle, the beautiful golden one, should have crosses going into that box like Trent Alexander-Arnold can play himself. But as I said, he's going into the midfield, now 92 rated. Still don't know why I've gone CDM, because we all know Trent can't defend. However, Tchouaméni can, as he will be a centre-back staying the same rating, and Grimaldo will get there. There's no rush, we do have Ferland Mendy, although I didn't realise that Grimaldo's actually 30. That might have been a bad choice. But overall in this team, there is no bad choices, just look at it. Amazing, but before we get going, Valverde, I have tried to make a right-back. Unfortunately not there yet, but I actually don't want to play him in central midfield, because of this man getting loaned out, Arda Güler. He's only 20. Severely underused, but I feel Alonso will actually get the best out of him. If he was to become Real Madrid manager, which I do think he will be, but second in the league, ticked our objective of, but at what cost? Because that is really poor from Real Madrid. We need to actually be better. Beaten in the Copa de España final and top of the Champions League in the league phase, but I know how we went out. We skipped to the semi-finals and Chelsea the team to beat us 2-1 an aggregate. That cannot happen. I do think it's time we roll the sleeves up now with Xabi Alonso style. I'm gonna go short passing because I do want build up, but I want aggressive play, as let's be honest, it's Real Madrid and it is kind of Alonso's tactics. Fast play, so this is the formation, and then it switches to that with the attacking wing backs of Grimaldo, who is perfect for it. It will change to a left back shortly, but Fede Valverde I actually don't trust because we're gonna have to wait over a year for him to switch. So if we pump Trent actually centrally, pump Valverde into CDM, I think that works for us. But do you know what else works for this channel? If you guys do subscribe, we're on the race to 60,000 subscribers, and I really do appreciate if you smash the likes. It helps the videos get out there. But also we've got to get on to our next challenge. We've completed dethroning Barcelona twice. Now we move on to the next one. We need to have 5 over 90 rated players, and as you can probably tell, this challenge was made before the video started because we've definitely completed that objective. We've got, what, 7 or 8 of them? Okay, so now we're going on to the third challenge. This is where it gets to hard mode. We have to win 2 UCL titles, and we've been beaten by Arsenal and Chelsea. So this will not be easy, and contracts on these players are ridiculous, leaving 96 million euros. We're already in a money deficit, which is much crazier than I initially thought. So I'm transfer listing Dani Ceballos and players like Rainier, who are never going to get played under Alonso. However, in selling players, them two are getting really hard to get rid of because of their wages. The only players sold is Ferland Mendy and Raul Asensio. Doing okay in real life, but if we're going to win the UCL, we need someone a little bit better, and 147 for a right back, that is enough for me, and we need someone of quality. So ignoring wages again, chasing the Champions League, signing the quality man Hakimi, who goes straight into the quality side, which should be fighting for the Champions League. The only player really on fraud watch is the bench man Endrick. Maybe all that worrying for nothing though, because look at our La Liga season. 1 defeat all year, 95 5 points. Sensational. Alonso has his first major honour here at Real Madrid. It has took 3 seasons, and we still finished above Barcelona. Absolutely perfect job. However, how have we done in the rest of them? The Supercopa won, beating Atleti, who had a little bit of a fall off this season. Sevilla also beating them in the Copa de España, which we weren't in. But the Champions League is ours. We've got 1 of 2 already. That's actually sensational. We beat Lombardia. The rounds before that, Manchester City, there was Paris, and then Bergamo Calcio, or Atalanta to mark our 2nd trophy, and we're close to an objective. Already, that is 1 of 2 UCL titles won. However, what bombs hit this team now? There's a few changes. Endrick has been the striker. Okay, I didn't see that. I just thought that was Mbappe. Alvaro on the bench made me a bit aware. We've got Militao and Tchouaméni growing. Better than the current centre-halves. Grimaldo is now a left-back. What has happened to this team? Right, release clauses must have gone through. Hakimi came in, but Kylian Mbappe, 340 million. We've lost him to Chelsea in the Premier League. Now, that is a bid I never thought would happen. As Grimaldo now a left back. Look at the increase. He's gone to a 90 rating. Crazy as Trent. And 97 as a centre mid. Making him our best rated player, but the top scorer is Vinny Jr., who's done a decent job of carrying the team, but I don't think it carries it long term. Endrick, I'm sorry, mate. You've just got to go. Only back to your bench position, though. A backup at 81 rated. Not the worst thing in the world, as we bring in new defenders in Militao and Tchouaméni, leaving basically just a goal scorer needed, but also a goalkeeper. T-Bone Courtois, and yes, I'm calling him T-Bone because it's funny. He's good for now, but he is 35. He's 6'7". He's been a beast for us. Let's see if he can just go out on a win. Another UCL title. And a Super Cup against Liverpool. Interesting. Alonso's old team, who he was rumoured to go before Real Madrid, snubbed them. And now at Los Blancos, with 365 million euros, that is the Kylian Mbappe money into the club. But still, we've got to think of someone Alonso would want. As a striker, as the obvious option, yes, we've gone to Leverkusen a little bit, but Victor Boniface, 26, 6'3", a physical striker? But when I think Real Madrid, I think more skillful players at the moment. Yes, they had Karim Benzema, a little physical, but not him. Don't think a striker like that suits our plans, and is also going to look for him. Maybe as a veteran backup, but he's retired, so we have got to look elsewhere still. On our search for a good striker, because Atleti have Julian Alvarez, and also Jack Baker, a Canadian who looks a decent regen. Got to hurry this up. Right, Duro is an option in the back of my mind. We do have... That's a different Icelandic. Goodmanson. I was looking for a Zaxxon. This man who's gone to PSG, 22-year-old, 81 rated. Not too dissimilar to Endrick, though, so we've still got to keep on looking. Could Vinny Jr. suit the role? No, it takes him quite a few weeks. And also the same with Rodrigo, so I'm not going to go for a Brazilian there. This is the man to suit our tactics. Yes, we played them in the Super Cup. Victor Gyökeres. He's 29, so again, on the older side. A player wanted by basically every club over at Sporting Lisbon. And can he live up to Mbappe? Well, let's see, because I'm going to take a chance on him. As he secures back-to-back titles for the Madridsters, now 3 defeats. Defeats slightly creeping in, and don't forget, La Liga means nothing. We just had to finish above Barcelona that season, not actually win the title, and not win things like the Supercopa, which is done, a 3-0 demolition job. Over the rivals is never bad, but they do get their own back in the Copa. Not bad for them, but I do want to see how Gyökeres has done. Making it into the team of the season, a lot of Real Madrid players there, but that's surely got to be a good sign. Gyök in the team of the year? Oh, but no. That's not very good. 19 goals. I think Kylian Mbappe averaged over 20 a season. Vinny Jr. still carrying the club, but I can't help think Gyökeres has underperformed. And I think the media will think the same, going from Mbappe to a low-scoring Gyökeres. Not very good. He's still under the rating of 90 as well, which doesn't fit the team. And we lose another 90-rated player next season, Courtois. He's actually decided to retire. As should we retire? We were beaten by Napoli in the Champions League. 4 4 goals to do as Alonso's old team win it. Oh, imagine how that's got Xabi Alonso thinking about his squad now. This should never be losing, especially to Napoli and Bayer Leverkusen. Haunted by the old club. That's a terrible feeling as a manager, I bet. Of course, I've never been a manager myself, so I really can't judge it off my own experiences.
Not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
But I've rebuilt a lot of teams, and I know a good budget when I see it to rebuild. 179 million, and we know the position we've 100% got to sort. It is in goal. We're left with Lunin, a decent backup option, I would say. But he is never a first choice, as Gyökeres should be good as an advanced forward. Bellingham as a playmaker. Now, I don't want that. I want him in the middle, as that's a lot better. Now we've fixed it. We do have the inside forwards, and also the defenders. Ball playing. They're gonna need to help the new goalkeeper out. And with Courtois being an old man, it only makes sense to bring in a young gun. Serie A, not a league we've checked much, and I know he's not the highest rated, but Zolakis. He's got good reflexes, positioning. His stats are decent for an 85 rated. And at that cheap of a price, coming from a good team, it will give us money for elsewhere as we bring him into the club. And plus, it's 2 decent keepers fighting it out for that position as number 1, but it is other players on the bench that we need. Brahim, I've never really trusted him, but we do lack a winger, so I'm gonna make him a right-hand-sided one to back up Rodrigo, because Vinny just has to play, leaving a central midfielder needed and a striker for Real Madrid. Not that big of shoes to fill, because let's be honest with ourselves, Endrick was a letdown, yet he's only gone out on loan as Lazar Symbolizes is in for us. And also, come on, Alonso's hidden weapon, Patrick Schick. Yes, the power of this man for Alonso is honestly unreal, because he just literally scored like every last minute for them. In their unbeaten run to the title, he was just Mr. Clutch, and hopefully has been for this team, as the only non-90 rated is the goalie. Zolakis, everybody signed up. We've got Trent at a 99, Bellingham at a 98, Vinny even at a 98, and plus we only brought Schick in to cover Endrick's loan out, which is now 84 rated from, as he may play with the Brazilians, although Gyökeres got 27 goals, Vinicius Jr. 38, Rodrigo 42. Unreal, and as you can see, we dominated the team of the season and the league on the whole. Now it's 2 defeats, Barcelona trying to push us, but they cannot get above us, as that's a double. We've won the Supercopa. All my days in the Copa España, we are on for a treble or quadruple, with the Champions League going okay for us, Bayer Leverkusen on top in the league phase. But we go and win the final, and hang on, Shakhtar Donetsk. Sorry, but that's a little bit weird. No disrespect to Shakhtar, but Champions League final? Still, they got pumped 5 goals to 0. It's a weird one. They don't even have a league on FIFA. They're in the men's rest of the world, and their best player is Sudakov. I mean, fair play. They've done really well to get to the final, as this could be our final season. This team is absolutely phenomenal. 98 rated, there's 2 of them. There's a 99 and everybody over 90, apart from the goalkeeper. But you know what? There's a challenge coming ahead of us, and we're on to the extremely difficult one, because we have just won them 2 UCLs, leaving a treble to be won. And I know we've just won a quadruple, but before we actually did that, Real Madrid have never won a treble. That is the La Liga title, Copa del Rey, and the UEFA Champions League. Not counting the Supercopa, but in this case, we actually could. So in theory, we could miss out on a trophy and still complete our challenge as Endrick. There he is. Oh my days. And when he's finished his loan, he accelerates to an 87 rating, and a little bit of me wants to play him. With them stats, as you can see, 90 agility, and it's decent for his physicality. Only 5'8", but an attitude on him, plus some play styles, but he doesn't live up to the Gyök. As also, I want to see the UCL finale, or when it would be, I'm guessing around about the 22nd or 29th. I do want to play a game today with Alonso's mega team and test it out, as 176 million euros, it's good. But another thing I'm kind of ashamed of myself is not using the academy. We had a 5-star scout, but we have no one in the youth squad. And we did sell Raul Asensio, so he was one of the best prospects, I think, from the Los Blancos Academy. His stats stats aren't actually that bad. 88 pace, 83 physicality. It's just a shame he's rotting at Valladolid. That is funny. And another kind of funny thing to actually see was Shakhtar reaching the final, and they was carried by Sudakov. Now, we would have to pay a release clause of 133 million for this guy, but losing Arda Güler, losing quality on the bench, makes me want to bring him in. Okay, and this countdown's going to be tasty because it's currently on 1 out of 3. It is 2 defeats again. Alonso is cooking. If we can get the others over the line, and there we go with the Supercopa. 3 goals to 2. Is it going to be done without the UCL? Well, no. It is Sevilla versus Elche. We've lost the Copa de España, which I would have rather won than the Supercopa. Almeria actually beat us. Oh, and there was a Super Cup as well. And this is a little bit dodgy because Monaco have beaten us. 4 goals to 2, not very nice. And Alonso can chuck big games. Of course, he lost 3-0 in the Europa League final. I think it was 3 goals to 0 anyway when they played against Atalanta as 9th position. No defeats, but it is a playoff round against Frankfurt, 5 goals to 1. Then it is Chelsea, 5 goals to 2 with smashing teams. Lombardia, 6-3, the team that caused us problems before. And then you've got the bottle job Spurs, 6 goals to 4 to put us into the Champions League finale, and it is the Bellingham derby, Borussia Dortmund. Let's go. Very excited to play this game with everybody fully fit apart from Tchouaméni, meaning Jonathan Tah will have to play, who was the 2nd ever signing, worked with Alonso before, and that adds a bench position where I am going to slot in Patrick Schick. Alonso should have experience here. Experience at beating Dortmund from his days at Bayer Leverkusen. Come on, just let them skills shine through. We've won 2 previous UCL finales to get here, and Bellingham and Trent, both 99 rated in the middle. As Vinicius Jr. passes it on to Jude Bellingham, Kobel cannot catch it. As we try and catch them out, it is Rodrigo still taking the corners. I thought Trent would be on them, surely. As the ball falls to Trent Alexander-Arnold, allowing a good save as, hang on, Dortmund through, and they've P-rolled a shot wide through Bayer, but I don't like that as Gyökeres gives it into Rodrigo, the top scorer this season. Rodrigo goes wide. 2 huge chances missed by either side, but a good header won by Rodrigo. The ball goes back to him. The close dribble in. This should be the first goal. And it is. And it was all caused by a mistake from Gregor Kobel. A terrible kick out, allowing Rodrigo to get that footwork in. Poor work from him, but Gyökeres over to Vinicius Jr. This could be the second. Before halftime, it would be crucial. Vinny looks to the side to Rodrigo. It is 2 goals to 0. Rodrigo is some player, and we could have another hat-trick hero. With how dominant we've truly been, yes, there's been a few little errors in the defense, but we should be getting this trophy. Victor Gyökeres not got his chance yet, though. Vinicius Jr. is in. No, it's Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham misses. I am going to go with Schick. I'm going to go with Endrick. Oh, and Rodrigo's missed his hat-trick. Ducking away from the ball as off he comes. It's going to be Endrick, Schick, and... who's the other one? Brahim Diaz. They're all going to be in the box as now Trent's being given the freedom of the corner, looking for his mate Jude. Tackle from Patrick Schick. He's an old man, and that's proving to be the case with that move. Sloppy, but he gets the ball back into the middle. Onto Endrick. He's been out on loan most of the save, and there's an easy pass there into the first signing of all. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold enjoying his time here with Los Blancos. He made the correct decision. He's working for Xabi Alonso, and he is going to win a treble again. With nothing else happening in the game, Jonathan Tah in the defense, but it's still enough to go there and get that treble and get the UCL over the line. As I don't want to watch the trophy be lifted, I want to watch the bus parade. Why have they not put the next trophy on it? Makes it just look like it was a double. It was a treble, though, and I've really enjoyed doing this challenge before a manager's even made the move to the club. Alonso does look like he'll do it, though. And if you have any more suggestions, leave them down below for other saves. But in the meantime, click my hands and you will get the videos recommended by YouTube.